What's up, y'all? Scott from RC Must See here, and welcome to the live stream. First time I've done one of these off my PC in a while, and it's good to be here. Nice way to spend a Saturday night. Hopefully, there's some people that join me. If not, if you're watching this afterward, just going to briefly go over what I'm planning to do tonight. So, as the title suggests, basically, I bought some new wheels and tires for the Lasernut. Not that it really needs it too bad. The tires, stock tires, are pretty darn good, I gotta say. They're very big for a 12 mil hex, very beefy. So you can see here, it's sort of like a short course style rim, where it's smaller diameter on the outside and larger on the inside with the 12 mil hex. You can also see it's a little bit offset towards the inside. Obviously, the offset's going to dictate the width of the vehicle. And what I got for the truck, and just because we're driving in so much sand, that's generally the place I'm going to be bashing this car. I wouldn't recommend these tires for anything but snow, maybe sand and mud. I mean, they're mud tires. They're kind of scale replicas of a true mud bog tire. And a mud bog tire is going to be skinny, tall, with giant lugs on it, basically. And that's what we have here. So these are the J Concepts Fling Kings in a 2.6-inch size. The biggest ones they make these in a couple different sizes for different RCs. And I decided to go with the 2.6s because basically they are the same diameter as the stock tire. So there you can see they're basically pretty much exactly the same diameter, but much skinnier. Um, Stock tires are obviously wider, but these things are just going to throw tons of dirt. I mean, tons, and that's the idea. Now, I got these tires come in two different compounds. You have the blue, which is the soft compound, and then there's a hard compound, which kind of regretted not getting. I think I should have gotten the hard compound just considering how soft these things are. I mean, check this out. Get some better light on here for you. I mean, they fold pretty easily. And under a lot of torque, they might kind of fold over. You don't really want these lugs to fold. You want them to dig in. So that's not very, I'm a little worried about that. The foams feel pretty good. These tires do not come um, pre vented, so that means that we're going to have to punch a hole in these tires to make sure that they can breathe. Your wheels and tires always need to be able to breathe. There's two ways to do that: either you punch a hole in the tire itself, or you drill out the rim. Preferably you drill it out from the inside before you glue the tire. You don't. I've definitely glued up some tires and forgotten to do that, and then had to drill the rim out itself. But it's essential for it to work properly, for it to be drilled, and for the tire to be able to expand and contract and breathe. Otherwise, what ends up happening is the air finds its way in as it spins. It sucks air into the wheel and tire, and then you end up with a big balloon tire. It's like basically a balloon, and that's not good at all for the performance of the tire, to have one giant big balloon tire and the other one to be all the rest to be normal. But let me show you what I ended up getting for this truck. So I was a little concerned with what was going to fit. Uh, what's up, RC Steven? ML Toys, Alan, how you doing? RC Steve working on his crawler. Good to hear, bud. Very good to hear. Welcome. This is pretty chill night here. Grab whatever you got. Grab yourself a little beverage, maybe. Saturday night. What's better than working on an RC car? I don't know. This is what I like to do with my time. Oh, it's Friday night, not Saturday. Duh. This is what cool people do. Very cool people end up working on RC cars. But anyway, so you waved at the TV, Alan. Good to see you. I'm in the wrench pit, right? I made it there 2 nights in a row. That's like the best ever. But anyway, these tires, like I said, are 2.6-inch tires, and you kind of have to use the J Concept wheels that come for the 2.6, and you get a lot with this package here. I was a little worried about the fit because like this is the stock wheels are like a short course style, like I had gone over in the beginning of the video. So it's has clearance here to fit the knuckle, the steering parts, but that's not an issue at all because these wheels come with 4 different hex adapters. Now I have one kind of mocked up here, and I chose basically there's 4 options, and from let's see, the first adapter is 11 mil offset. The second one is 18 millimeters of offset from the hub. The third one is 20 millimeters of offset, and then they give you this monster 32 mil offset. Um, I mean, the offset wheel adapters are going to widen or narrow the truck. And as you widen and narrow the truck, you're going to get good things and you're going to get bad things, right? There's always a trade off, regardless of what you do on any kind of vehicle. So the trade off ends up being the wider you go with your truck, and probably most of you guys that run cars know this already, but I'm going to go over it anyway. The wider you make your truck, the more stable it's going to be over rough terrain, right? So as you extend the wheelbase or the width of the truck, as you hit bumps in rough terrain, it's not going to get as unsettled. It's going to be able to kind of go wrong, but you're going to lose some steering capability, right? Because the wider truck's going to want to make a wider turn. So you have to figure out what's best for you. It's nice that it comes with these options, depending on what vehicle you put these on. Like I said, these are like mud bogger tires, but I'm going to be using them in the sand. So we'll see how they do. Now, I have one mocked up here. It's not glued yet. They fit perfectly onto these wheels. And another thing you with these are the J Concepts 2.6-inch Mega Truck 12 millimeter Dragon hex wheels. You can see that right there. Oh, it's backwards because we have a camera action going on here, but it's part number 3379B. So you get 2 wheels, you get all the adapters, you get the screws to attach the adapters, and then you also get these uh, clear paintable inserts for the outside of the rim, which is kind of cool. I'm not going to be painting these tonight. Haven't decided what color I'm going to do, but you can at least decorate the wheel a little bit by painting that as opposed to having just black. I may actually just leave it black because who cares? Or I actually it might be cool to do an orange like this uh, to kind of match the stock car. So let's put those aside. The other thing I have to do is one thing that happened on the last bash session. If you guys watched the video, we had tons of fun with this thing, but as is not very uncommon with new stuff, you might lose a screw here or there, especially when we were running them for like 2.5 hours straight. So what ended up happening was this screw fell out of the back of the hub, and so did the little let's see, what would you call that? It's not a spindle, but it's a part of the metal part that goes in the arm, and lines is between the arm and the screw to keep it more solid, so it's not just a screw in plastic. And unfortunately, uh, you actually have to buy a full. Yeah, Loctite. I didn't use enough, but I'll be using plenty tonight. Trust me, because yeah, it goes right into aluminum. You have, in order to get those little shims, you can see them there. Let's pop it out of there. You have to buy the full arm set. You can't just get the shims, which is a bummer. But having a couple spare arms is never a bad thing. These work on the Low Z Tenacity. It's the same setup as the Rock Ray. You can see we got our arms here, front arms, and then we have our little shims. Take a look at that. Anyone that races 8th scale knows those little things are something that wears out with time. So I haven't been able to run it because I didn't want to run it without those in there. So that's a really easy fix. Super duper easy. I have a spare screw that I put in there. Bushing. Thank you, Alan. That is a bushing. I should probably re-Loctite both of these on both sides while I have them. All right. So easy peasy. Let's see. Where's me knife? We don't need no knife. There we go. All right. So I just need one of these. Here it is. This little guy there, little aluminum piece. And that's going to slide right into the arm. Boom. Whoops. A little awkward. Get yourself in position. There we go. Our out drive, our axle came out. Get that back in there. There we go. Nice and tight again. And while I was at it, because I did lose the screws, I got a baggie of a bunch of screws. Can't really have too many screws. I have a big box of spare screws that I keep for 8 scale racing, and you never know. I needed one, and I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 in there. This was probably like $5. All these parts are pretty cheap. The wheels are $28 a set. Not bad. The tires are not cheap. These are listed at $40 a pair. I don't think I paid that much. I think they were $30 on AMain. But can't put a price on fun. That's what I say. My cat is roaming around going crazy at the moment. It's not Waffles, it's Mia, Alan. But thank you for commenting. Let's see. Here she is. Ah, you know how cats are. They never do what you want them to do. Got a nice, fresh new bit of Loctite there, or thread locker. Loctite's a brand, right? Use the blue, medium strength blue. Give it a decent amount. Don't want to overdo the Loctite. Just enough. Coat the threads where they need to go. Okay. That was a quick date, Alan, that you had. Must have been a short one. Probably Dawn's used to short dates, I bet. All right, getting that screw in there. There's no grub screws to keep these in like there are on a lot of cars. You're basically just relying on the Loctite to keep it in place, which is why it fell out for sure. Anytime you take a new car out, you're definitely going to want to go through all the bolts and screws and make sure everything's tight. Oh, what a date night that is. Oh man, it doesn't get any better than watching RC Must See on your date night. Wow. I'm honored. Thank you guys. There we go. Nice and tight. Let's move this thing. All right, we're good and tight now. I know I should go on the other side and do it, but I might do that off camera at another time. But before I get to gluing tires, which is not very exciting, I do want to show you guys a couple things I've done to this whole rig here. Cheers. So, another thing I love about the Lasernut is that the access to the inside of it, it could not be easier. Boom. All right. That's that's awesome. But one problem I had with this truck was the battery tray that comes with it. So it's a pretty skinny chassis, right? It has a little upkick here on the side to fit the body, but the stock battery tray is pretty small. It's also very high up, right? You can see this mounts to the bottom of the chassis, and it pretty much limits you at what size battery you can put in there. Hard to tell on camera. Give you a little measurement for those guys that know about battery size. So at a maximum, you're putting a 5.5-inch battery in here. Now, this truck's meant to run 4S, and a lot of 4S batteries are much bigger than 5 inches, which is like this big. So I took matters into my own hands and removed that battery tray. And there's plenty of room in the chassis for more battery if you wanted it. So with the true essence of RC, I made my own battery tray, and it wasn't really hard to do. I wish I had like more of a mobile camera I could show you guys instead of having to lift it up all the time, but here's what I did. I'll try to organize this a little bit better. So you had all this room in the chassis, and then you have this chassis brace here. So what I just did was, along with I had bought a bunch of steel plating because I'm doing steel body panels for this car, custom making a bunch of steel panels for it. Why? Because I can. It's fun. It's a fun project. I'm going to be able to paint these how I like them, and it's just cool. But I had a lot of extra steel laying around, and I figured I might as well use it to make a tray. So what I did was, it's hard to see, but just basically cut out a square steel, took some measurements of where I had to, how much room I had in the chassis to work with, cut out a square, and then bent up a little section back here, and kept checking it, made sure. Now that stock battery tray gets bolted into the bottom of the chassis with just some regular screws that go in, countersunk screws. So I knew I could bolt something in there. Didn't have to like glue it or anything. So I basically cut out that square. I had maybe some 1 or 2 millimeter aluminum spacers that you just end up collecting with when you run RC for long enough. And yes, I did. The battery dropped quite a bit, Alan. The center of gravity dropped a lot, like a 1/2 inch maybe with this. So basically just put the screws in, put the spacers in between the new tray and the tray, and then bolted it in with some bolts. Let's see here. As you can see, man, that's rough. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit better view. So bolted that down, and then I had some foam that I use for making dioramas, which helped get the battery up off those screws and nuts that come from the bottom. And then I ended up like kind of taking that square tray and rolling the outside edges so that the Velcro didn't get cut, because obviously like cut steel is going to fray those Velcro trays. So the fact that it's rolled means that the Velcro can just come right around. And I was able to fit all three stock straps in there. I think if I was going to remake it, I would put some kind of separator between the chassis and the plate so that the Velcro straps can't really like migrate around like they do. But 100% completely solved my issue as far as being able to run my 4S batteries. I can't quite fit my like hard pack race batteries that I use in 8 scale, but I was able to fit like my Traxxas Max batteries, like the soft case ones that I use, the 4S. So that opened up. Also, I have longer 3S batteries, like Traxxas 3S batteries that I was able to fit in there. So totally solved that problem. It's been solid so far, and I'm pretty proud of that. That one was pretty easy to do, And someone should be able to like 3D print something like that. I bet you if you Google search that people are 3D printing them, but why pay somebody for that when you can just make it yourself? Like the steel plating cost me not very much, and I like making things myself. Definitely a little bit of craftsmanship. I think Lozi ended up using this tray here because they want you to use their Spectrum batteries, right? Like now that they're owned by Horizon, they have their own battery styles and all that stuff. But I'm not. I already have enough batteries that I'm not spending another $100 on each Forest battery. So pretty happy about that. All right, so we fixed our front end. Move these out of our way. Get ourselves organized a little bit. Got our new bushing in there. All right, so I had already pre-mounted one of those wheels and tires on this car, and with the second level offset, which is the 18 mil offset there, it was already sticking out too far. Like it had already widened it, probably more than I wanted to. You can always switch out the adapter if you want to go crazy wide. I want this thing to handle like kind of tight crawling sections pretty well, so I think I'm going to switch this out for the 11 mil offset. The other issue that I have with this stuff is that the axle stubs on this truck are super short. Like, I don't know why these manufacturers make the threaded part of the axle stubs so freaking short, except for they like just want you to use what it comes with. I don't know. It couldn't be too long because you can always screw the nut on more than it should. But with these wheels, it's like I have just enough bite with the nut to be able to thread the nut on there. It doesn't even reach the nylock part of the nut, which is a little worrying. So these wheels might come loose as I drive, which sucks. Like that, then you strip out the hex, and then that's not good. Yeah, I think you can also get these hexes in aluminum if you wanted to, which might be worthwhile because obviously plastic is not as strong. Also, if you ended up using this giant 32 mil adapter, it puts a lot more stress on the drivetrain because it's further out, more leverage for everything. So it could bend or break a bearing or wear something out. So use those at your own caution. I think you should use these for real specific reasons. Like if you had to for a fit, like on a monster truck or something like that, where people use that stuff. But Alan, for sure, I'm going to be thread locking the hell out of them. I almost would like use red thread lock for something like this. They're going to work, but I'm gonna have to keep checking them as I drive because I'm a little bit worried about that. So let's see, what's our order of operations here? I think I'm going to insert the hub adapters in there first. Then I have to punch the tires, and then once I get them all set up, I can glue them up, which isn't really, again, it's not really an exciting thing to do, but we're just hanging out. So I will speed it up a bit using a power driver. Definitely want to be careful threading into plastic with a thing like this because you're going to strip it out if you're not careful. The wheels come with all the hardware you need. Pretty nice. Steve, which crawler are you working on, man? You still got that axial or what? See the difference here. So that's the 11 mil. 25 mil, and 32. Pretty cool. There's a lot of options with these. Like pretty neat product. Steve still got the axial. Nice. Very nice. Have you got anything new? I know you got into those smaller scale crawlers for a little bit there. I haven't bit on one of those yet. I think they would be cool for our indoor course that we run on, but I don't know. I got my money tied up in other things between racing and this truck, which has been pretty costly so far. Guys, I like way overspent on these aluminum upgrades, like super duper overspent on them. But what are you gonna do? That's what I like to do. Work on a class one crawler. Okay. RC 4-wheel drive D90. Nice. Is that leaf sprung? I would imagine it is if it's class one. Got the Axial SCX24. A lot of new parts coming out for those things. Pretty impressive. You can get different chassis, different bodies. As the aftermarket grows a little bit for those, they're becoming more and more tempting to buy, I have to say. So, very minimum, get those screws started. I feel like these will strip really, really easily. I don't want to like push it too much. Hmm. So that's pretty similar offset to the stock. Actually, the stock wheel is negative offset. See how that hex is embedded in the truck? This one's pretty much flush with the inside of the rim. So it'll still be wider than stock, but not too wide. Wide enough. Seems pretty solid. Have our other bag of adapters here. Boom. Let's get that one. I won't tell Steve. It's a never-ending money pit, like any hobby can be. But if you use them and they make you happy, it's worth it. The kit also comes with like new wheel hexes, and these are the stock ones right here. You can see the black ones are what comes with them. The black nuts don't even have nylock in them. They are serrated. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to use those just because there's not an advantage to them. I don't think that the threads start any sooner, considering the little issue that I have. No, no, not really worth it. Alan, they're both knurled. That's the thing. I wish I could get some music going on this. That's for sure. But then I end up getting struck down for copyright infringement. So, ha, I have to pace myself, Alan. I do have to work tomorrow, so I don't want to go too nuts. I have a whole bottle of wine to finish that a customer gave me. Actually, I'm really lucky in the sense that as I work in service, I'm a pro bike mechanic. People give me some awesome tips, and I'm very grateful for that. And a lot of the things I get tipped with are drinks. So a lot of free beer. This wine was given to me by an Italian customer that I have who got this. He's apparently this is what the Romans would drink. It's the vineyards that old, so it's pretty cool. Not really a big wine guy. Like I like wine, but I don't. Maybe it's wasted on me, but it seems to be nice and smooth. I like it. Very nice. Pretty novice when you have ice in your wine. Turns your teeth black too. Oop, message there. All right. So that's 2 out of 4. Oh yeah, fresh new product. Cha-ching! It's so easy to go out of control with this stuff, with the spending. I mean, it's relatively affordable hobby, right? It can get expensive, like racing's expensive, but still at the point in the hobby where like I can walk into a hobby store and I'm just like, I want everything in here. Like I would buy everything in here if I could. Bicycles, I used to be that way. Um, I used to be as obsessed with that as I am with RC, but you do it for a decade and it kind of loses its magic a little bit. Anybody that's decided to make their hobby their job or their passion their job knows what I'm talking about. Man, I need a bigger desk. Not ideal, guys. I need like my own YouTube space. If I had more room, or if I was a little smarter in how I could set up my condo here, I would have a dedicated space for YouTube. Then again, I did get out of like YouTube for like a year. I haven't really been doing this very much. I had a little health issue, and that ended up holding me back quite a bit. Screwed with my head and my body, and I kind of didn't really do much of anything except for go to work for a while. Um, but that's been taken care of, and I'm much better off now because of that. You guys hear me okay? I have my mic set up over here. All right, 2 wheels, boom, 11 mil. Whoop. Cool. Thanks, Steve. Mic check. Hope you guys got a chance to see. Oh, Jesus Christ! Got a chance to see my Motorama video. Man, that was a hell of a trip. My buddy Alan or ML Toys in chat, he was there with me. I pitted with him and my other friends, and Motorama is always worth the trip. I'll tell you, it's it's uh it's not easy. It's not like a trip to the beach, let's say. Like it's a lot of work because you're up crazy early and up really late, usually too, if you're having a good time. And so you're going on not much sleep. I was forced to sleep on the couch all 3 nights this year. Not happening again, guys. I didn't really mind, but somehow that happened. And I usually, for whatever reason, I was the first up. Except for mains day, Matt was the first qualifier in the first heat. But it was actually pretty nice to have two vehicles there so that we could split up the duty. Um, but Motorama is an experience. If you've never been there, like it's worth going just as a spectator. Like get an Airbnb and go check it out. Come hang out in the pits. There's so much stuff to see there. There's like thousands and thousands of people at this year. Like COVID's over in Pennsylvania at least, um, and thank God for that, right? Everyone's sick of that stuff. The crawling, I didn't really get a chance to check out the crawling competition this year. I kind of regret that. I always regret stuff on these trips. We checked it out real quick. It was cool. It looked a lot better than last year's or the 2020 event. As far as the layout goes, they had like a tractor pull set up, which was cool. I didn't show that on the video. I've never seen a tractor pull at Motorama. Um, the track itself was amazing, as always. Um, I did hear that someone in the motocross event ended up losing a leg, which is pretty gnarly. That was the rumor. One of my friends that I met there, Kevin, and his son, said he saw it happen, which is gnarly. So I can believe him. He's a trustworthy guy. So somebody actually lost a leg on a three wheeler. Believe it or not, I actually do believe that three wheelers are incredibly dangerous. Seems like the safety regulations at Motorama are pretty low because he was telling me that the guy wasn't even wearing like legit motocross boots. He had like Timberlands on. So I don't know who in their right mind would ever go to a track with Timberlands on. You're asking for trouble. And apparently his legs got caught between the ground and his rear axle and popped the leg off like from below the knee. Big reason why I gave up motocross. It's already cost me my right knee. I'll always love dirt bikes and I'll always love watching dirt bikes, and I will own one again, definitely. As soon as I get my giant 1,200-acre property, it's coming. But as far as racing goes, you better be in good shape and know what the hell you're doing to go on a racetrack. I get my kicks with RC cars these days, so that's how I do it. But so it's a really good fit with these tires. Like it's airtight without even having glued it yet. So that means it's not vented as I squeeze it. So we're gonna have to punch some holes in there. They look the same. What do you guys think? You can see the tread pattern on here. Part of me wants the tread to go like that, like forward, but the other part of me wants it to eat, like grab ground. I think that's probably the way to go, right? You want it to like grab it as it goes. So I have to make sure I glue these tires on the correct way so that they, as they're going forward, they grab. But yeah, really soft. Like I'm a little disappointed in the compound. Like it's a little too soft. I feel like these are going to fold over. And obviously, softer tires are going to wear out quicker. The fact that I'm in sand is good, but like I would definitely not suggest these for anything but sand, snow, and mud. Like they're gonna suck for that. You're gonna rip them to shreds, and it's just the car's gonna be handle like junk. All right, so we got our hubs mounted up. Put those aside, the extras. Put our spare arms in a little bag for further use. And we got to punch holes in the tires now. For these, like I have my trusty hole punch here. Pick one of these up if you don't have one. If you're going to glue your own tires, it's worth it. Unless you want to drill your rims, but there is something to be said about punching your tires, especially if you punch the outside edge of your tire, because having the hole on the outside, like you would think, well, why would you want a hole on your tire? The dirt's going to get in there. But in reality, what happens is the tire spins, it flings out any water or dirt that might be trapped in there. So having it on the outside, I typically like to put it on like the edge of the sidewall on the inside of the tire so that it's not digging in. Because obviously the outside of your tire is going to be digging into the ground more. And having it on the edge of the side just puts it enough out of the way that it's not really going to dig dirt, but it's also in the right spot to do what you have to do. So if this is our right front and I want it to dig in this direction, right? So we want it to, well, say like that. Then I have it mounted up properly and I need to punch at least one hole. One, two holes, probably one's enough, I'll be honest with you. As long as it can breathe and you don't clog it up with glue. So just take it off the rim here. These tires do come with a foam. Foam's pretty good, pretty soft. You know, kind of might think maybe a little firmer foam might be a better choice, but I'm about to glue these up, so there's no coming back after this. It'd be nice if these were bead locks. Even though bead locks are a bit of a pain to install on your truck, at least you can switch them out. Um, you're not committing. Once you glue these on, there's really no way to get them off. You can soak them in acetone for a while, but I've tried that, and it's nasty stuff. And also, the acetone tends to wreck your foam, so you better have some spare foams if you're gonna do soak them. All right, pretty simple. Just give it a little punch. Definitely need to use a hole punch if you're going to put holes in your tires. There's no other way to do this that's reliable. Um, if you try to use a knife, like if you're just trying to poke a hole in a knife, you end up putting a slit in there, and a slit is going to tear, right? So if you start a slit, it's going to have an ability to open that slit up more, and you're going to actually tear your tire apart. The hole is better because it's obviously circular and it's not, it could rip, but much less likely. Also, you can't drill your tires. That doesn't work. It's too soft of a rubber. I've tried. Trust me, I know. I know all of this stuff from experience. I've made all the hard mistakes. My friends like Alan and George have definitely given me a lot of good advice as I've come up, but I usually like to learn things the hard way, just how I am. Uh, so I'll pass that knowledge on to you. But when you try to drill a tire, it ends up just twisting the tire rubber around the drill bit. It doesn't work. It's too soft. So you really have to get yourself one of these. Pick them up. They're cheap, really cheap. It's worth getting, investing in. I think I'm going to do two holes. What the hell? 2 small holes, maybe better than one big one. More opportunity for the air to come out. Also, I got to take it off the rim because you have to prep your wheels and tires anytime you glue them up, right? If you just take these out of the package and try to glue them up, trust me, it'll work, but you have a much higher chance of them not sticking because it's basically based on if there's when they make these tires, they come out of a mold, and those molds are coated in like an anti-stick material. Sometimes it's like a white powder you feel, or it's like a greasy material. Same thing with the rims, right? You never know who touched them or what they used to take them out of the mold. So you have to clean the hell out of these things with alcohol of something like that, like a brake cleaner, something that will strip away any of the goo that's on there out of the box, but also not leave a residue, right? You don't want to like leave a residue on there. So Uh, John Doe, wrap the inside tire with duct tape to prevent ballooning of the tire. You could do that. There are some pro art 8 scale guys that actually will glue down the foam to the rim, and you can also glue the foam to the tire. And they do that for specific reasons, like depending on the traction of the track. But yeah, there's several ways you can do that. You could definitely, if you're worried about it ballooning, like because these are soft tires, and the softer the tire, the more they're gonna balloon as they go faster. But I'm not that worried about it. Like I'm not using this car for like speed runs per se. Like I'm not like maxing it out. Like I did rip it down the hill full throttle, but I'm kind of like medium throttling it this thing around. So not that worried about like them ballooning. You can also get tires that come with the steel belt. Like that's a pretty new thing in RC that only came out in the last couple years. They're definitely more expensive, and they're more for like your basher speed run cars or like just your 6S. Like once you go above 4S and you get to 6, like the amount of torque and wheel speed that that much amperage is ridiculous. And I might get something if I had like an e-revo that uses 6S or something like that. But for 4S, like this car's not that it's really not that fast on full throttle. It's fine. I think the max is a little faster, but I'm cool with not with leaving them the way they are for now. Why not keep them sealed without breathes? If you seal them up, they will suck in air. I promise you. Air will find its way in there. And if it's not like all of your tires, like at least one of them, you're not going to perfectly seal it up, or as you use them, the air is going to get in, and then once they stop spinning, they seal back up, and you have a ballooned tire. Like like literally, it's like a balloon. Um, and it'll wreck your tire. Obviously, having one tire that's twice the size it should be is going to make it handle like garbage. So you have to do it. There's no way around it. If you don't have a hole punch, like I said, you can drill your rim out from the inside with a drill. But pizza cutters, you got it, man. That's what they turn into. Definitely, as they balloon, they get taller. We'll see how these work. I don't know. Kind of just bought them on a whim for the most part. That's my cue. Steel belted tires more expensive. If everyone bought them and they were really popular, they would become standard. But for now, they're like I said, they're pretty new to the hobby. At least I've been doing this a lot since like 2016, so a few years now, and those only really came out at least for like bashing purposes, um, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So, all right, yeah, I have to take these out. Now, a lot of guys and girls, when they prepare their tires and rims for glue, they'll also like take a Dremel to the rubber itself and like kind of scar them up, right? Same thing with the rim. You could take a Dremel or sandpaper to these edges and get them to not be perfectly flat. Why would you do that? You would do that because glue likes surface area, and by scarring up the like microscopically, well, maybe not, but scarring up your tires and your rims, you're getting something from flat. If you were to zoom in on a microscope, something that has edges like that, and that's more spots for the glue to go in. And the more area the glue has to stick to the rim and tire, the stronger the bond's going to be. So I don't go that far. A lot of people do. It's a lot more work, but I have had very good luck gluing the tires the way I do it. I shouldn't say this, but I've never had one of my tires that I have glued come undone. So I'm gonna stick with what works for me. But there's a couple things you need. Like I said, let's get everything in line. John Doe says all the high-powered batteries and motors turn your basic RTR into pizza cutters. They can, definitely. Clear example of the engineering not keeping up with the power of brushless motors and life of batteries. It's like anything, John. Uh, the manufacturers are there to make money, right? That's why they make these things. They're not really there to make the best car. They're there to make the best car for the least amount of money. So putting belted tires on there stock is an accessory. It's something that's extra, and they're not going to do that because honestly, most people are not crazy like you or me who like to do this stuff. They just buy it, they use it a few times, and then they put it away, right? Like most people do that. If you really get into it, you understand this stuff a little bit more. But in general, like you got to really think about it in that sense that they're there to make money. Like especially the cheap Chinese stuff that you can get. I have experience with those. Like if you go to banggood.com or is it Price Point? No. You know what I'm talking about. Like you can buy stuff direct from China. All this stuff is made in China and Taiwan. All of it. Like it doesn't matter what it is. You built a factory team, RCT 10GT, and had to replace the gears, have a backup dog bone. I don't know factory team. That sounds like a Chinese brand. Like I said, like this is a Lozi. Lozi is one of the oldest names in RC by far, but their stuff is made in China. I think maybe the difference is when you buy from a reputable brand, you have somebody you can call in the United States when you have a problem, and they're going to be able to help you out. Okay, Team Associated. Again, that's nice. It's a good brand. Team Associated's probably the oldest, one of the oldest brands out there. Really good. I don't know why I'm going on this rant about Chinese stuff. Maybe people that are watching are tempted because I know I was tempted by those cheap stuff. I mean, they're like half price of what you would get, and you're like, oh, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. They come with cheap like pot metal parts, not hardened steel, cheap crappy steel, cheap like even the hardware is cheap. Like the screws that you get are cheap and they strip, they're garbage. Like they use the cheapest stuff. Like you get what you pay for with this stuff. It's the same with bicycles. Like you go to Target and buy a bike, it's a cheap piece of crap that's meant to be thrown away. And a lot of people, that's fine. Like they're not going to get into riding a bike like I have, where you're going to go out and ride 100 miles at a time, or get into as a way of life, where I make my living working on them. So I would avoid the Chinese stuff. The other problem with them is you if you break something, it's gonna take you someone has to ship them from China to you, and like the way shipping is going right now, it's gonna take weeks to get. And even back when I had bought some of my other Chinese stuff, it still took 2, 3, 4 weeks to get parts. They are dirt cheap, I'll give them that, but it's not really worth waiting because if you want to drive your car and you break something simple, you have to wait a month to be able to drive it. Built everything. I did hear Venom batteries went out of business. Yes, Steve. Yeah, Alan. Alan used to be sponsored by Venom if he's still watching. Yeah, they went out, like, it seems like a lot of stuff's getting bought out by Horizon and, like, a lot of little companies that are being bought up, and now there's, like, 4 or 5 big companies that own everything. It's like monopolies going on right now, so that's a little weird. But, I never really bought any Venom stuff. They were kind of on their way out by the time I got into the hobby. I had one of their pit bags that Alan gave me, and that thing was pretty good, but not surprising. It seems like everything's consolidating right now, and it's how things go. John Doe says he built everything with aluminum parts and sold it for $600. Nice. I hope you got to drive it. I mean, that's the idea, right? There's definitely some aluminum parts that are worth getting, and some that are not. You can easily just like drop $1,000 on aluminum parts for a car, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's better just because it's made out of aluminum. It all depends on what you need, what you're going to buy. So anyway, guys, moving on with the project here. It's time to clean these things up, right? So I'm going to take the crap off these tires and rims, and you can use alcohol because alcohol is like a liquid that will clean up stuff, but also not leave behind any residue. I use this. This is called Clean Streak. It's from the bike world. It's basically like a degreaser that we use on bike chains and things like that. Uh, The other thing you wanna make sure you use when you do this is, something that does not leave behind lint. So don't use a paper towel. Don't use a t-shirt. Use something that when you wipe it, it scoops stuff up but leaves nothing behind. Microfiber is the best possible thing you could use for that because it does both of those things really well. Stuff's pretty nasty. I would probably should turn a fan on for this, but I'm already drinking wine, so just going around here, the inside of the bead of the tire. You'd be surprised at what comes off of these. It's usually like a brown sludge that comes off the tire. John Doe says he crashed his RC10 GT 3 times and rebuilt it. Even lost a whole wheel down a gutter from hitting a car wheel. All right, so I'm guessing that's a road car, considering it's called the GT. Okay, these things happen. High speed cars like that have high speed crashes. I had a associated rally car. Forget what it's called. If you look back on my channel, I made a video, like an unboxing video of it, and it was the biggest waste of money that I ever made in RC by far. Long story there, but all right, these are pretty clean. Getting a little bit of crap off of there. Yep, some stuff. Getting some schmutz off of those tires. Hey. So seeing some cat hair on here. Okay, tires are wiped down. Look at those springs, man. That's awesome. Time for a drink. All right, give the wheels a quick wipe down. Interesting bead on here. You can see that, sort of. And again, these wheels are made to work with those tires. So I don't know if you have to buy these J Concept wheels, the Dragon 2.6. You kind of do. Like 2.6 is kind of uncommon size. Usually it's like 2.8. Hold on while I discipline my cat for a second here. All right. Don't worry, I just punched her in the face once. Just once. John Doe said he had the Castle Creations Mamba Max motor and super fast NESC. Yeah, Mamba Max is fast stuff. When I get ESCs and motors, I always go for the censored stuff. It's just so much better. Like I don't think the Mamba is censored. Maybe it is. I've never bought one. I bought the Sidewinder SCT 3S ESC, um, and used that in a couple cars. But the Mamba is definitely like go-to basher stuff. But if I spend any more money on this car, I think it would be a motor in ESC, and I would get like proper 8 scale stuff, like Hobby Wing. I'm done with Tekin. I ran Tekin for years. I like their servos, but I had my relatively new Tekin ESC go bad on me at Motorama, like in the middle of a qualifier, and wrecked one of my buggy qualifiers. And that's it. Like, there's no brand that's immune to having issues, but that thing was like had one race on it and should not have gone bad. There's no reason it should have gone bad, but it did, and I had to drop out of the race because of it. Not cool. Good strong servo with a lot of torque is good. Got to make sure that your ESC can handle super high voltage torque, torquey servos. If it can't, it'll make the servo like it'll make your ESC like kind of brown out. That's when you need a BEC, which helps. It's like a capacitor for the voltage. ESCs have a BEC built into them most of the time, but they can sometimes only handle a certain amount of voltage. So you put some super mega heavy duty servo on like a cheaper ESC, it will cause electronic issues with your car, and sometimes you have to wire in a separate BEC to help keep things flowing nicely. Okay, so we're all cleaned up and we're actually ready to glue. Before I glue, I always install the tires on the rims, get them set up properly. Snap the front end of the chassis twice and then sold it because it's a design flaw. It sounds like you spent quite a bit of money on that car. I've never snapped the chassis. That's pretty impressive. You must have hit that car wheel pretty hard. Sold it. Gotta move on sometimes. Been there. Man, I need like a little baggie for these tiny screws. Let's see. That's that. That. Got that bag. Nope. This will work. I think I'm going to pop the paintable covers for the wheels in there at the same time. We will paint them later, but not tonight. Not a painting night. Okay. So cat hair. I think we got to remember to set these up right because they are directional tires, right? We want them to eat that way. John Doe coming back in. 110 scale trucks are good for learning mechanics, engineering. That's about it. Just put it on the shelf. 110 trucks. What does that mean? What truck are you talking about specifically? I didn't finish hole punching the tires. What the hell am I doing? Oh man, that's how you make mistakes. Jeez. Come on, guys. You got to catch me on this stuff. That's why you're here. Any 110th scale truck. Well, John, the Lasernut is 110th scale, technically, but it's as big as my 1/8 scale buggy. So it's like weird when you if to make that claim because it's like there's the scale part of it is not an exact science, and I'll tell you this thing is as much fun as anything I've ever owned. Um, like the scale is really more comes into like racing. Like there's 110 scale buggies and trucks, and then there's 1/8 scale buggies and trucks, and those are all the same, basically size. But I'll tell you this being a 1/10 scale truck is way bigger. Like I've had the Vitara twin hammers, let's say. I had that truck. It was a really fun little car. Um, and that was a 10 scale truck and that could fit in my backpack and I could take it anywhere I wanted. This thing ain't fitting in a backpack. It's really 1/8 scale size. So like the nobody can agree on what a 1/10 scale truck is. Hello, my international viewer. Can't pronounce that because I don't speak Taiwanese, Chinese. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Taiwan. All right. You guys make some good products. Many of the products I sell, bicycle products, come from Taiwan. Many electronic products come from Taiwan. One of the biggest manufacturing hubs in the world. Tire makes a difference. It does. But then again, this is a 1/10 scale and it comes with over a 5-inch diameter tire. That's huge. That's like gigantic. So again, it's a blurry line. The size of the wheel changes the RPMs. Yes, but it's less about the change of the RPMs and it's more about the strain on the motor. You can spin the bigger wheel the same speed you can smaller wheel and tire. Just takes more energy to do it. That's where knowing which pinion size to run makes all the difference. All right, we're punched up, guys. Put that away. Program the ESC in crawler mode. That depends on the ESC. Not every ESC has a crawler mode. Mostly crawlers have crawler mode. But you'd be surprised what you can program on your ESC. That's for sure. Um, like get to know your user manual. If you look on your car, there's probably like a menu button on next to the on off button, or it's on the ESC where you can set stuff. And if you look in your user manual, it'll probably tell you how to program your ESC. Like for example, this Horizon Spectrum ESC has quite a bit of programming you can do. Um, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to do. Like more sophisticated stuff, like my Hobby Wing, I have a Bluetooth connector that plugs right into the fan port, and I can do it from my phone, which is awesome. But that's a higher end ESC. So this one you have to go through a menu by hitting buttons and listening to sounds, but it can be done. It can be done. There's YouTube videos on how to do it. YouTube has the all of life's answers. That's for sure. Castle Creations makes the best ESC. Debatable. You can connect to your computer. That's very cool. RC Mask Master, what's up, bro? Welcome to the hangout. Hope you have your own car. Maybe you have yourself a nice adult beverage if you're an adult and you're enjoying your Friday night working on stuff. You can see we're gluing up some awesome Fling King tires for the Lasernut. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we'll say this is our right front. And we want it to bite like that. So we'll glue it up that way. John, if you're watching, just make a comment. Come on, bro. You don't have to text me. Yes, we are all adults, for sure. This is not made for children. Not at all. It's not fucking made for kids. There he goes. These are adult toys. It's an adult hobby. These aren't toys. Yeah, they are. Expensive toys. All right. Oop. So, when I glue tires, I usually only do one side at a time because the glue obviously has to dry for a while. I tend to let them dry for like 12 hours. That's probably way too much time. Like you could probably get away with gluing both sides um, in like maybe an hour or two. It'll be cured if you do it right. But I don't have time to glue all four sides of these tires tonight, and we're not going to be streaming all night either. So at least I can get four sides of the tires glued up. I do have rim bands, tire bands, and I would highly suggest you get those if you don't have them ready. RC Steve, hit the like button. Don't just hit that like button. Fucking smash it. Just like pow! Hit it so hard that it goes away. I don't know. Subscribe if you haven't already. I want to get up to 10,000 subscribers, guys. 10,000. That'd be amazing. I don't do it for the money. It's just fun. I like sharing this stuff, and I really enjoy making RC movies. Like to be honest with you, I like filming them. I like editing them. I like sharing them with you guys. So, fuck iPad, dude. Sometimes you gotta take one for the team. You gotta take it for RC must see. I've broken a couple computers smashing that like button. I hate YouTube. I'll be right back. I'm going to get my tire bands to help glue these tires up. 2 seconds. All right. So these are your pretty standard, AKA tire gluing bands. They're better than like a regular rubber band because they're a sized right for an RC on both 1/10 and 1/8 scale tires, and they're wider. They're definitely wider. But when you use these, you just have to make sure that you don't actually get glue on them, because if you put these on your tire and you accidentally get glue on them, they're going to glue to your tire, and then you're going to either ruin your band or ruin your tire. So be careful with that. RC Mask Master, thanks for stopping in, bro. Appreciate it. All right. So I have one tire set up. I'm going to make sure I'm doing this properly. So that's our right front tire. Next one is going to be our left front. So we want to do that. Comments not working on the phone. I saw that. I don't know what to tell you, man. Get a PC. I don't know why this is the first time I've actually streamed from my PC. I usually use my cell phone, but I figured I would just use. I have a Mac and it has a built-in camera. I have a nice microphone that I use for recording audio, voiceover, stuff like that. So it's not the best setup because I have to move my whole PC over into to see my work area. Um, I actually do need like a YouTube space. Like I need a workshop and a YouTube. Like I'm in my living room right now. I live in a one bedroom condo, so I don't have like I don't have a garage. I don't have anything like that. Boo hoo! I don't have a garage. I'm a lucky guy. Trust me. All right. So those are set up. That's the right front. I'm just going to put them where they need to be. This is going to be the right rear, so we want that. These fit very nicely. I like to just pre-fit them before I go gluing them. Man, these are soft. Like, honestly, these are as soft as a crawler tire. Like, that's crazy. I'm surprised that they came this soft. Like, I knew I was taking a risk. And like I said earlier in this video, you can get these J Concept King Flings in in 2 different compounds. And I'm a little concerned that these are a little bit too soft. I think they are going to turn into pizza cutters uh, under full power, but what are you going to do? You live and you learn. Hopefully, if you're thinking of buying them and you're watching this video, you'll get the right ones. All right, so that's our right rear. And then we need our left rear. So if that's the inside and we want it to eat like that, boom. Okay. Can't believe I almost forgot to punch all the holes in these tires. Like, you guys didn't even catch me on that. Like I was about to glue them up and only punched one tire out. What do I pay you for, honestly? Ooh, yeah. Breathing good. Man. Again, if you're just joining us, check out that difference. There's the width difference, and the height difference is negligible. Basically the same. Again, these are not bad tires. They rip. But why keep it stock? Always buying new stuff. All right. So I think I'll glue the outside edge tonight. And here's our next tip, guys. Here's the moment of truth. Time to glue. Now you can really mess this up. If you've never glued tires before, it's something that's easy to mess up. Cheers. So, I'm sure some of you out there have fucked up gluing your tires before, and it's easy to do. It comes down to using the right glue and the right tools and knowing what you're doing. There are tire gluing jigs that you can buy that you put your wheel in and it separates the bead from the rim. Those are nice. Those are nice. Definitely help out, speed the process along, make it a little more efficient. It's easy to overdo it with glue, and you can underdo it with glue. The key part is definitely, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, is to make sure you clean them off with like alcohol or degreaser before you go, something that doesn't leave a residue. That's the most important thing you can do. And then when it comes to actually gluing the tires, in general, like a medium to thick consistency glue. If you get super thin glue, um, it's going to want to run. And then what happens is the glue runs into your wheel and it sticks to your foam, and then it sticks to the inside of the tire and your foam and all that other good stuff. So not good. I have this glue. This is pretty thin for me. I picked this up at Motorama. No, it's hard to see here. It's Flashpoint tire glue. God, that's some bad glare, guys. I'm sorry. My lighting sucks. A little bit better. Flashpoint tire glue. I actually typically like Gorilla Glue. This is my glue of choice. I know it's backwards on the camera, but it's the gel stuff is the best in my opinion. I have some here. Actually, that might be dried up. I usually get that. You don't want to use anything but super glue. That's for sure. Also, another thing you have to think about with super glue is where you're gluing them. And you don't want to rush it. If you glue four sides of your tires and then you go flip them over and glue the other side, you could very well glue your tire to the table. Also, super glue, the fumes of super glue actually will go around and stick to oil. So I don't know if you've ever built a model car before, but and use super glue, but if you put fingerprints on plastic and then you super glue them, the super glue will go right to your fingerprints and stick to them, and you cannot get them off. So if you glue something up, um, put it on a mat or something like that, or a towel, because the glue will find the your fingerprints or any oils that are on there and will bond to them and make them permanent. Actually, police and detectives use super glue when they're getting fingerprints off of objects. Look it up. So we're going to do the outsides here. This is the delicate part. All right. The other secret weapon for gluing your tires is one of these. So this controls the amount of glue that's coming out of the tip. I really can't emphasize enough how much this helps do this work. If you just cut the end off of your super glue and go dump it in there, you always overdo it. You're going to get glue on your fingers, by the way. I just did, and I haven't even started yet. Oh, not a big deal. Little glue on the fingers. All right. I wish I could give you guys a better view, but that's as far down as my PC will go. This isn't exactly a how-to anyway. You're just hanging out with me while I glue some tires, right? So we have our applicator on there. We make sure that's tight. I have about half of a bottle left. That should be enough. Don't use that glue in your hair. I was tempted, Steve. I know what you're referring to. That lady that used glue in her hair. She had glue in her brain. I think she spent a little bit of time inhaling glue because that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. There he is, John. He's on. He's on. John's my partner in crime. He always comes out and bashes with me. He'll probably be at the next video. So welcome, John. Appreciate you stopping through. Worst part about gluing tires, what's that? Get it on your fingers. I already have like a solid coat on there. I think if you're really good, you don't get glue on your hands. It helps if you have new stuff, but all right, we're diving in, guys. We're diving in. This is the moment of truth here. So you have to work quickly, but not too quickly. You have to put the right amount of glue on the wheel, but not too little. So I'm going to dive in. Just a little bead as we go. Don't want to overdo it. Take your time, but hurry up. That's the idea. This is a nice fit. These tires are meant for these wheels, so not a problem. Bam, one done. Make sure they're nice and even. It looks good to me. Not going to be perfect every time. Get glue on your hands. This is when you stretch your gluing band over the outside edge of the tire to put a little pressure on there. I don't know how well these are going to work with these Fling Kings, to be honest with you, but it's better than nothing. All right. See that there? Pretty clean. Got a little bit excess. That's okay. Some guys will take a paper towel and wipe off the excess. I don't. As long as it's not super excessive, I don't really care. It's just extra is good. All right, so that's the left rear. Moving on. I'm sorry, the right rear. Moving on to the front. John says that the softer compound is the right choice. I don't know, John. You're gonna have to check these out, man. They're super soft, like super duper soft, like crawler tire soft. I think these things might fold over under pressure. I think you might fold under pressure. I don't know. I'm not really sure. We'll find out. They're gonna be good. Don't get me wrong. But the stock tires are definitely a little firmer, like 50% firmer, maybe. You would want super soft tires for definitely wet situations like mud. Like the softer the compound, the better it's going to do in the wet weather. I'm not really planning on mudding this car. There's going to be some mud, trust me. But we'll find out. We'll see how they do. All right, moving on to tire two. Here we go. Don't glue your tire to your shirt either. All right, number two done. That one went a little bit. Take a look. Nice and clean. Almost like I've done this before. Carefully stretch on our tire band there. Boom. Nice. All right, 2 out of 4 done. Cheers. John commenting. John also has these tires, I might mention. He has them, I believe, for his short course, or no, for his two-wheel drive buggy. He says he thinks the one he has that are soft come out. They do fold, but they hook. I'm sure they hook, John, but you're also not running 4S. And you're not running this big rig here. So there's no way to tell. The only way to have told to really have felt that is if I had gone to a hobby shop and actually had them in my hand and was able to touch them and like make that determination. I usually go for softer tires because usually that means more grip. But these are special, right? Like these are like huge lugs that you kind of want to dig in. But all right, diving into tire number three. Done. This glue is a nice consistency. Like the thinner glue, the only way the thin glue is going to work is if you have that micro applicator. I'm telling you right now, it's like get those. Like get a package of those, like 50 of them, and use them for gluing tires. Every time I've ever used one of these, I'm like, why don't I use it every single time? Go to your hobby shop and pick some up. Right. Numero quattro. All right. Pretty easy. Maybe I will glue both sides. This was going too well. Right. So that is the left rear. Steve, I think I might have to. Just for you guys, I might have to glue both sides. But I have to let them dry a little bit. Do I? I don't know. John just got back from the beer run, mate. Good call. All right, I won't go anywhere. It's fine. What time is it anyway? 9:35. It's early. Friday night. What else you got to do? Nothing. What are you gonna go to the bar? Spend all your money? Make a fool out of yourself? Oh! I just had tire band fly at my face. These fling kings can fling. Damn. John Doe says he actually made a video of his associated RC10 GT on his YouTube channel. It's one of the few videos that he's ever made. Well, I might check that out, John. You've talked all about it. I think after this stream, I'm going to check out your video. As long as you keep coming on watching my videos and checking out my live streams, I'll check yours out, bro. Now that I heard all about it, I'm kind of interested. I hope it's the video where you crash it into a car and break the chassis in half, like you were describing. So I'm gonna wipe off some of this excess glue here. Okay. Strap your Samsung to the front of the car. Cool. I've only ever done one POV shot in RC, and that was when me, Alan, and Steve went out to Alair State Park and used our crawlers in the woods. I had my GoPro on the top of my TRX4 Sport, and I got some pretty fun footage of us like just shredding it up in a field. That was pretty cool. Also know John, my other buddy, my buddy John, who should be watching now. He's got like a GoPro mount for his cars, and you can actually buy RC bodies that have a GoPro mount built into them. So that's pretty cool. I'd like to do that with this car. There's definitely room for a GoPro in here. Yeah, super glue. But yeah, POV shots are cool. If done properly, they are really cool. RC Steve, I agree. We do, and we shall. We shall. I got some pretty funky rear suspension for my crawler. Maybe while these are drying, I'll go grab that. I'll check. I'll show you. Right back. All right. So this is my TRX4 Sport that I built as a kit, of course. And this is my tried and true. I do have a regular TRX4 as well with the 2 speed and locking and unlocking diffs. It's kind of broken right now for some reason. It has an electronic issue. I miss that truck tremendously. Uh, it's one of the best cars I've ever bought. Super sophisticated crawler, but I just haven't had the motivation or time to fix it. I will. I'm gonna do something really cool with that truck. I don't know what it is yet. The fact that it's got all that stuff on it is like so cool. The 2 speed, like I want to be able to run like 4S in that thing. All right, let's check this out. Oh man, I still have a battery connected in here. What a dump. That's how you blow your house up. Pointer guys, you never want to leave your battery connected to your ESC. Why? Well, because the ESC can actually draw amperage from your battery even when it's off. And if you know anything about LiPo batteries, you know that you don't want to let the battery get below a certain voltage, or else it can actually get unstable and blow up. So the fact that I still have this plugged in is pretty noob. That's a noob mistake. Hold on, I'll show you 1 sec. I have a rubber band coming up here, starting to come up. I don't want to glue it to my tire. All right, I got to set these aside here. Let them set up. Quick thing, the other thing I did to this truck is I put 1 million diff weight in the center diff. So, right there. We could talk all about diff tuning. One of the big reasons I bought this truck was because you can tune the diffs a lot. John Doe says the best solution to making the ESC and motor live long is liquid cooling. Are you mad? All right, so this is not exactly a stock truck. Well, it's not stock because it was built as a kit. So basically, I have a Holmes Hobbies. What is this? This is a Crawlmaster 550. So this is like a $80 brushed motor. Super nice. It is a 27 turn motor. So like good middle of the ground as far as torque versus speed, and super loud motor, but really good. Haven't had any issues with that. I have a Hobby Wing quick run ESC, cheap, easy, made for crawling up to 3S if you want. Pretty good. Um, I've used this truck to compete quite a bit. So I usually use these little tiny 3S batteries. They're super light and they don't last for, they don't, this is only 4,200 mAh. Actually, pretty good for a tiny battery like this. 4,200, that's pretty good. But super light and good for competition. Not good for like extended trail running, but if you're going to go compete like I have done with this truck, it's good. Stock front suspension, stock tires. This I find the Traxxas stock tires are really good. Good chunk of brass up front there that I had to modify a little bit. These are Traxxas beadlock plastic rims that I used, but you know, obviously you'd want a heavier wheel on a crawler. But I ended up again. I like to make things myself. I don't want to have to buy like $150 wheels for a crawler. So I ended up getting. You can get lead tape, and I wrapped a bunch of lead tape around the inside of the rim on all 4 tires, and that actually added a pretty good amount of weight to them. And it was way cheaper than buying some super custom wheel. Traxxas 400 servo, it's okay, gets the job done. Stock transmission. I do have overdrive gears in the front and underdrive in the rear. So the front wheels spin twice as fast as the rear, basically. Kind of see that in action there. Helps it crawl, but here's what I want to show you, Steve. I have my cantilever rear shocks. Check that out, man. How cool is that? Pretty awesome. It's a little soft, like stock. I use the stock Traxxas rear shock. I think they're 110 mil. Steve, you've probably seen this before. This is like 36 bucks on Amazon. You can get this whole kit for. It doesn't come assembled. You have to figure out how to do it yourself. It's not that difficult. You get a bunch of extra parts in there and like a weird steel brace that isn't useful at all for the TRX. That it all just mounts right to the body. So much more articulation with this setup, like dramatically more articulation with this truck, like stupid amount compared to stock. It's hard to tell from here, but compared to stock, it's stupid amount of articulation. You're only limited really by these two mounts hitting the motor plate, the battery tray. It could go further. If you were to trim that some more, you could get even more rear camber, not camber. So pretty cool. I just have to put some thicker fluid, maybe some stiffer Traxxas springs in there, and that would be a nice upgrade. But fun truck. I don't drive it as much as I used to. I actually don't have a front bumper on there at the moment. I'd like a better bumper that's super flush. Uh, kind of wish I could make one, but not really in the cards. And like the really nice ones are like if you get like a steel one, they're like 80 bucks. Not spending that money on this thing. All right. So yeah, Steve, it's pretty cool. It's a neat thing. It's a big performance increase, I think. It's just they're a little squishy. Like it's not a I generally like my crawler shocks to be like slow. Like I like the truck to be like "Wah," like predictable under slow conditions, and those are like they're wonky. So I think just much thicker fluid, like use diff fluid as opposed to shock fluid in the shocks. That might be the next step for those things. Scale metal supplies for bumper. I've never heard of that. Hmm. I've heard of a lot of them, but not that one. Like, there's got to be a good option that's like flush mount because my all the bumpers I've ever bought like have stuck out way too far, and that ruins your angle of attack. Like, right, if you're trying to crawl, you don't want your bumper to hit first. You want your tires to hit first. So I don't know if any of you guys watch Harley Design, his channel, his YouTube channel. He works for Vanquish. And Vanquish makes like probably the nicest crawler kit you can buy. Um, right now, he is currently for like the nationals making the best, most awesome custom crawler that I've ever seen. So check him out, guys. Harley Designs. The dude is legit. He is one of the most legit scale crawler customizers in the game. John says they do a pretty universal bumper that you can choose the mounting tabs. Might be a good choice. Are they cheap though? I like cheap. RC Steve says he used 42.5 oil for his shocks. Yeah, I know he's live, Steve. He does like Friday night takeover thing. He's in cahoots with Scale Gilder's build. Those two guys, like he's like 4 or 5 levels above me in YouTube right now. And he still doesn't get like he can't make a living on YouTube. Not that I'm trying to make a living as a YouTuber, but he's in the industry. He works. He does it for a job, so he should have some pretty sweet connections. I just do this for fun, and I'm happy to be back. Like I said, I abandoned this a while ago, so it's fun to do this. Have a little drinky drink on a Friday night, 9:50 at night here in New Jersey. You saw that forged carbon video, John? Oh my god, dude, I wanna do that so bad. If he could do it, I could do it. You have to be able to make the mold. I mean, we could do it. We could do it. Start forging some Red Eye Speed Shop. Check it out, Instagram. Red Eye Speed Shop, guys. Check it out. Give him a drop. I know it's gonna be backwards, but boom. He's the main sponsor of this channel. I don't do any social media. None. I don't do Instagram. I don't do Facebook. Not into it. Should. It would help the channel. He 3D prints his molds. Yeah. Not only does he 3D print the molds, does he have 3D printers, but he also has a 3D CNC router. And he welds. And he has a lathe. Dude's got it all. He's got it all. It's like he's a professional engineer. I mean, if I had his skills and his garage, I would be doing the exact same thing. It would be ridiculous. I wish. But wish don't get. All right. I think I'm going to glue the other side of these tires. What the hell? What the hell? They're dry enough, right? Looking good. Nice and clean. I don't know. What do you guys think? What color should I paint these inserts? Pretty cool. What would go with this? Like I was thinking red. Not going to do black. They're already black. See that? Pretty neat. Match the red on the body or paint to match the metal body. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm holding out to paint them for when I paint the body. I wish I could share a screen. I don't have this software. I'll figure that out, guys. If I do a lot of this live streaming on my PC, I'll be able to share my screen. But I get a lot of inspiration from real trucks, and I'm thinking of doing like let's see, this orange, this color blue, and like that yellow. God, lighting sucks. Like a match of that, and then maybe some, or no, actually, these two in white. That's what I was gonna do. That would be cool. Really cool color combo. But I get my inspiration from the real U4 trucks. I saw one like it was a Bronco, I think. Super awesome. Um, before I glue these tires, let me show you my body panels I've been working on. So there's the hood, and I had some gaps where I folded it over, right? Because I like ideally you would stamp these things on over like a mold or press. Don't have press, don't have stamp. So I just made these out of hand, by hand, I should say, and I had to fold them to make a joint, but I did end up using solder. So I soldered the joints and then sanded them down, so much stronger. I did that there. I did it right there. I did it there. So that should give it some. This is another project. I still want to cut out some holes on here to lighten them up a little bit. This is going to add some weight. So if I can cut them up, and then I have this 1mm mesh to back it with. That'll look pretty cool. It'll help dissipate some heat. It's going to look badass. So that's the hood. There's a roof. Right? It's going to go like something like that. I have my rear section, which is this, something like that. Doesn't have this little bump out, but who cares? Maybe I'll do some cutouts there to let the air flow through. And then I'm a little bit held up on the body side, the body panel. So this is one of the body panels. I think it's the side right here, something like that. I have to do 2 more holes in there to be able to mount it. Stuff's pretty sharp. If you ever decide to work with it, it'll cut you up pretty good. So be careful. But it's a long-term project. Definitely going to be sponsored by Vidabon. Putting that guy's kids through college, let me tell you. Steve says Westmade build, someone to watch. Makes incredible RC bodies. I will check that out. Now, Steve, are they carbon? Are they aluminum? Are they Lexane? Because I know you can make Lexane bodies if you have like a vacuum mold. Interested to see how he does it. All right, we're diving in. Do the other side before I drink the whole bottle of wine. Oh, easy now. Okay, one. Two. Makes the bodies out of styrene. You saw one built at an event. Okay. I just don't know how durable styrene would be. Like you might be able to build something cool out of that, but first time you take a header, it's gonna crack. But I'm sure it's cool. Two. Three. Made a cool mail truck. Gotcha. I will check that out, Steve. Definitely. All right. Uno más. All right. Hopefully that's enough glue. It doesn't seem like a lot, but maybe I should have sanded it a little bit. Nah, too much effort. Nice. These tires are gonna rip. I'm hoping to get out Sunday again. This Sunday in the morning and get some footage at our sand pit there. That's the plan. Anyway, that's my plan. If anyone local is watching, come join us. this beast, this beast will be a monster roosting beast. Definitely. It's already a good truck. That's for sure. I'm a little. I'm not sure, guys. I don't know about these tires. I think they're a little soft, and I'm a little worried about having that not enough of that wheel nut axle. It's like, uh, it's close. It just bites enough to be able to mount it on there, like it just enough to where I'm comfortable running it. But I'm going to Loctite the shit out of it. Let's put it that way. Oh, where's my band? I lost my tie band. Uh, check this stuff out too. I got this like faux carbon fiber vinyl. Dying to use it on something. Uh oh. Yeah. Jesus. What do you think? Should I mount two of these on the car even though it's not dried and show you what it's going to look like? I think I might. I think I might have to do that. Yeah. Test it out on 3S. I think I will. It was slow on 3S. It only had any extra speed like at full throttle And this truck comes with a second pinion just for 3S. So it comes with a smaller pinion for 3S to give it like more initial wheel speed, but I don't feel like changing out a pinion in the middle of the Jersey desert. So I think I will, like, just for extra runtime because I only have two 4S batteries to run in this. Like I'll probably do a 3S battery first, and then check the car out, make sure everything's tight, and then let it rip for on four, because it on four it's how it's meant to be driven. Like definitely, like I'm not a noob to this. Like it four is perfectly capable, and it seems like it's where the truck was meant to be used. I also picked up a couple of these. So I really like having the body pins captured on the body, and I think I'm going to install these on my 8th scale cars because I hate like losing my body pins throughout the day, like it does happen. So just have to drill a little hole in the body, shove that in, and then basically have this action here. Can't lose it. It's really nice. It's like super, super nice. All right, we got to mount these up. Mount them up. Mount them up. All right, why not? You guys just put up such a good argument to do it. Oh, and I did strip out one of the stock wheel hexes, like not fully stripped, it was like half stripped. But luckily you get an extra wheel with this car because it's meant to run a rear spare is what this is. So I would say if you're gonna run this car on 4S, tighten the shit out of the wheel nuts and Loctite them. Like can't hurt. John, in case you missed it, I switched it to the least amount of offset. Well, I'm gonna try the wheel nuts that came with the wheels. What the hell? Oh man, these are even worse. I was afraid of that. Damn, I can't even get the nut on. Mm, what the hell, man? These are thicker. This 11 mil offset is actually thicker than the 18. That doesn't make any sense. Check that out. That's all I have to work with. That sucks. Hmm. That's a big problem. Big problem. Now that I glued them up. Damn. What am I gonna do? All right, let me quick put the 18 mil back on here. See if that was what it was. I don't know. That sucks, guys. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. All right. Hmm. I'll figure something out. Trust me. It's just plastic, right? We can adjust plastic. Let's see if this makes a difference here. This is going to widen the truck more than I want it to be, but I had it on there this morning, so John says to test the 18 mil out without mounting it. Yeah, smart guy. Step ahead of me, bro. All right. Here's the 18 mil. Is that going to work? Yeah. Yeah, the wheel has nothing to do with the hex. Like, worst case scenario, might have to like machine that inside down like a millimeter. It's not a lot to work with. It's crazy thin. It's not like it's thick. I mean, it's thick, but the stock must be super thin. Yeah, the stock is thinner. The stock looks like it's about 2 millimeters, and this one looks like 2.5. Like, so if I had to guess, I don't. So I can just get this to bite, like, so I can at least mount it. But I would not trust this to run. Damn. The other answer would be a thinner hex, right? So I can check the stock hex because these are the Vidavon hexes. They should be cross compatible. Yeah. Let me find that stock hex. Hmm. Sorry, guys. I hate to leave you hanging. I'll be right back. If you can just stick around. I don't know exactly where I. Give me like 1 minute, and I'll be back. Hmm. 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 I don't know what I did with them. They're in here somewhere. I just can't. I don't know what I did with all the stock parts of this thing. I can't remember. They're in a bag. So many RC parts. Hmm. Shouldn't have gone far. I don't know. Well, either way, I accomplished what I wanted to. This is definitely an issue with with these wheels. I was afraid of fitting issues. Like anytime you buy something like this, um, you have the potential for it not to fit. So if it doesn't specifically say it's meant to fit this, it should. These are not like any kind of weird like bespoke wheels or anything like that. It's just this axle stub is super short, super duper short on here. That's annoying, and it's all part of the Vidivon axle, which I bought. I don't think it's any shorter than the stock axle. It's definitely not. It's just like let's see, let's see how much they actually give you here. A pathetically short amount. Where is my metric ruler? I can't find anything. Oh, there it is. So it's 6 millimeters. 6 mil? Yeah, 6 mil of thread. It's pathetic. Hmm. It has a cutout there. It's almost hitting the steering part. Let's try the J Concepts nut. Good. Come on now. I got a little more bite with the J Concepts nut. Only a couple mil of bite on that nut though. Really, the half inch doesn't fit? That's crazy. That's. Let me try that without the wheel on. That's insane. It's got to be the same. No, no, not the same. Can't even get one thread of this nut on that axle with the smallest amount of offset. I'm gonna have to like maybe I can just take a little off of that like with sandpaper. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Yeah. Anyway, I accomplished what I want to do. Glued up the tires, put that replacement part in that arm that fell out. So overall, pretty good. Let these tires dry up, and I'll work on getting these things fitted up. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll certainly be running them. I will get them to go on there. Trust me, in one way or the other. They might come off, they might strip, but we will get some run footage with this truck with these Fling Kings on there. So I thank you all for tuning in, and come back and visit me the next time. I'm trying to do a live stream like this like once a week, hopefully, whether it's Thursday or Friday night, something like that. But appreciate you guys watching, and catch you next time. Peace.